And welcome back to the Aurora Cup. There we go. I thought I had way more time than this. We are going to break down the game. We were going to talk about it, but we're zooming now. So you brought in the Aatrox versus the Sejuani. Sejuani couldn't handle the heat. It's like not Aatrox has any sort of counters, by the way. Thank you, Riot. Then on the bot lane, Tristana was supposed to do something, but Caitlyn was getting those plates. In the mid lane, somehow Draven was capable of smashing that Corking, and out of a sudden, they find in the choke point. Draven cashes in with the first blood as well, goes back, gets the SS River, gets the lethality item, and out of a sudden, it's a done deal. It was an amazing game coming in from natives, showcasing why Duckling thinks they're the dark horse, and they're solidifying what he thinks they are right now, which leads us to the next game and the other side of the game as well. We're going to be watching Vanir versus Basta 5. I'm going to say Basta 5 nonstop. My question is, Basta 5 was not destroyed by natives. There were a few moments where Basta 5 were capable of showing up on the Summoner's Rift. Is this a good showcase? And why are you laughing, Duckling? But I'm going to send it to you. Why are you laughing?
I mean, maybe best of five or just best in the best of fives.
Basta 5!
Best of five might only work there. I mean, in the end, though, I think it's important to hit on, as you said, they did good, all things considered, because I personally, at the very least, rate natives really, really highly. So the fact that they had some good moments here, it's a good beginning. It gives you hope, I would say. You maybe are able to take a group of someone because I think Vanir having rebuilt the roster might be a bit more shaky. So I think those are you guys who could look to take games off.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dominov kept a lot of that roster, but they have changed their jungle. That's also a very important role. So for best of five, I think they definitely have the hope to take a game in this group, simply due to the fact that they had these glimmers of hope, or just glimmers of moments where like, yeah, this is actually solid League of Legends. They're doing the right call here, which I'm really happy with, considering I didn't know what to expect.
So now we're going to the other side. Some kick. It is Vanir. I think you kind of know this team. I think you have some sort of inside information as well. Tell me, what is Vanir right now? Because from the end of the NLC Summer Split until now, is this the same team?
This is not the same team. This is something completely different. This is where we bring in the experience. This is players who have been playing for a while and have the experience overall on the board. Dark Zelda has been playing for a long time. Risiki, though, we did see in the NLC First Division, had that one game on Seraphine. Didn't get his best showing, so I'm really hoping to see something new from him now, the new style, getting up and being able to showcase himself. And that's also the thing with Vanir. When I talked to Carlos, their CEO, he's like, this is a team that's going to be allowed to showcase themselves as players, what they can do. So I'm really looking forward to this opening, especially against Bastu 5. They did show a good early game. They didn't really have the patience. And now it's all about, can they actually keep it together on a new game already after that kind of loss?
Okay, so when these two teams collide, due to the fact that we don't have a lot of information on how Vanir works right now, they were not capable of showing up on the first game as well. So that's more an incognito mode as well. I don't think they're allowed to lose a single game because they kind of lost the game versus Domino. So what can we expect from this game between best of five and the new Vanir Duckling? In your mindset as an analyst, and you told me that you wanted to push yourself further, I'm gonna send it to you. This is a rough one.
Oh
What can
wow.
we expect?
Well, I think the fact that I don't know a lot about these players because some of them, as we said, we haven't seen a lot, really makes this game more interesting to me. I think both teams are coming in with a bit of a wildcard sense because we haven't seen this vanilla roster play, right? Buster 5 now are in the disadvantageous position. The fact that what they wanted to do in the game was shown, that drafting was shown. So Vanir can look at that while Vanir haven't shown the card to himself. So Vanir are now the team with all the cards on their hand, holding them close together, being like, we have some special cards up. While we have an idea, we don't know exactly what you want to do, but we have a good idea. And I think Vanir should play to that strength. See what was it that went well for Bastards 5 or the small moments that went well for Bastards 5, and then try and play against those and kind of take inspiration from what natives did because you now have a clear way of beating Bastards 5.
Okay, Tom Kick, hit me with your prediction as well before we talk about champions.
I feel like at this point, Batu 5 is probably going to make some changes. Now they showed that we want to scale, but they didn't have the patience. I would expect to see them a bit more aggressive. Maybe not full on early game, but mixing it a bit up more so they can actually be proactive and be the ones to push on to the lead. Now for the other side, I'm also expecting Vanir to have solid drafts. They're a team with a lot of good management. They have a lot of good people around them to be able to correlate everything together in a good way. So I'm expecting to see things just feeling perfectly mixed together from Vanir. But if they can actually execute it, it's gonna be the interesting thing, especially against Bastu 5.
Duckling,
Yeah.
I think you just did the angle of
Yes.
the
Yeah,
gesture,
I
so tell me,
wanna
yeah.
wanna ask
Online
you
is kind of hard, but I'm gonna give it to
Yeah,
you, yeah.
talking about the AD carry situation, you highlighted, right? They picked the Caitlyn. I think this time, maybe go for the Kalista if you really want to dive into the early game. If not, I think Misfortune, really strong in the meta, adds a lot to the team fights if you want to be fighting around the second or third Drakes. So in the AD carry position, obvious changes there in my opinion.
Okay. And it's interesting because one of the things that we could highlight from the first game, and apparently we had a lot of time to dissect the first game. Maybe we should have done that before I went speedrunning the percentage. My question is, we saw the Caitlyn, but the Volley Bear was not playing for any lane whatsoever. So you bring in a jungler that can dive at level 2, level 3, and still get success. He has been known to do that back in the past. Maybe they should be playing for the bot lane that showcased a lot of promise. Is that what we should be looking for?
I feel like at this point, maybe they're a bit too afraid. Like they have the Volber, they have the option. Maybe they're not confident enough with playing around the Caitlyn like that. Maybe getting a bit caught off guard with the Trundle support appearing, and then the Tristana bot lane. Maybe they're expecting Draven bot, so they have different plans, but maybe aren't good enough to adapt into the moment. So I'd expect them to be a little bit more confident now. I wouldn't think that Vanir is like super crazy in the drafts. So maybe this is an area where they're able to play more around their strengths, where if they have, for example, a Volibear again, they will not be too afraid to make plays early as they showcased in the game 1.
Yeah. I really think you're hitting on the right point there with the Volibear because it's something we talked about as well in the agreement, right? Around 10 minutes, you mentioned, how is Volibear up in CS against Lilia? None of them have really been doing anything. I mean that's because the Volibear was sitting in this jungle, just farming for 10 minutes. Polar needs to get out there. As a Volibear connoisseur myself, you're not getting any use out of your kit, especially after the nerfs, if you're not pushing for something. Either get an early invade with early lane priority, look for the gank in either bot lane, in this case could have been very promising in my opinion, or go for something top. You have to go for something. That's the problem. You can't sit still and just power farm as a Volibear anymore, especially if you want to build tanks. So honestly, for Polar, I would like to see a 180 in his playstyle, but I would also like to see maybe a Lee Sin or something. Commit to the early game.
Okay.
They showed some good early moments. They just didn't really utilize it.
Okay, we do have a little bit of delay on this game, so don't worry, guys. We're going to stick with you throughout this entire show. Regardless of what happens, we are here for everyone through thick and skin. Also, keep in mind, we have other streams showcasing the other groups right now. You brought in the Lee Sin, and I know Linkus on Dusty just brought his Lee Sin as well, and it's his favorite champion in the jungle. I know that when I was asking him on the Lee Sin Jungle Clear Challenge, which I won, by the way. But it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
I would like to know the result of that. Eventually, I'll look onto Twitter and I'll see that. But for you at home, we have 4 streams dedicated for the Aurora Cup with a lot of talent, like pretty much the best talent from EU right now. The up and coming talent is working on these 4 streams. So regardless of where you're going, it's going to be lovely. I'm going to get some. Oh, there you go. I'm getting the link. So head on to twitch.tv/euniverse_TV, or then you can go to twitch.tv/rategaming_DK, or even El Dorado Esport. There you go. I was waiting if there was an S or not at the end. El Dorado Esports. So you can see what is happening on the Aurora Cup. It's going to be through all of these days. We're going to be showcasing all games for you as we have teams from Division 1, Division 2, or even closed qualifiers. Now, my question before we jump into this game, hopefully, would be versus natives. I don't think Bastu 5 were expecting to win.
No.
Let's be honest. My question is, if they want to win a game, this is probably one of the best, if not the best. Because Vanir is still not an oiled machine because they just redid the team. Tom Kicked, you work with teams, you kind of coach them, and you help on teams develop as well. When you know you have a solid team, they had a solid team, and all of a sudden they bring a new 5-man roster. They're fighting versus someone that it's an incognito, even though we've just seen him play a game, Basta 5. This is the game for Basta 5 to shine now.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you also have a new roster like Vanir, it's all about finding your style as quickly as possible, because then you can start diverting into different things. So now this is the moment where we see, okay, is this a style for Vanir? And for Bastu 5, who probably has been playing more together, I would assume, than Vanir, are they able to showcase different styles? Have they been practicing enough where they show, okay, this is our core thing, but we've also been practicing these things. So maybe we can see the changes, maybe onto some more aggressive things onto Vanir, who might not be too established as Batsu 5 at this point.
Okay, is there any player that you would like to highlight on the new Vanir roster? Either Tom Kick or Duckling. Both of you guys can chime on this one because we do have a lot of names that just joined this roster of Vanir. Names that we've known before that work or played on Division 2 as well, and they are now showcasing themselves on Division 1 or even the Aurora Cup. So is there any player you would like to bring in as we jump into the Champion Select, I hope? And I would like to highlight as well, Vanir lost a ban, but let's see how it happens because this could be the time for best of five to bring in the Atrix because they have the blue side.
Yeah, so while we're waiting for this, I want to quickly highlight while we're waiting for the first ban to just fall out from Vanir, is like I want to highlight Riziki. Riziki is the player who has been the sub for the main lineup throughout NLC 1, who has been able to watch the games, learn from experienced player, and get in all the information and knowledge through that time. So I would expect a lot from him this game and to be able to showcase what he's learned from being a substitute for the main team.
Okay. Duckling. We see the Adi. We don't see the ban from Vanir as expected. I showcased this one. And there you go. It's not going to be brought in. Seraphine as well. So these are not the common bans right now. These are more specific as well. Do you see any bans that are not coming to light that should come to light? And the fact that we're missing a few bans, will that change the champion select?
I think for the side of Vanir, they will be severely pressed on their bans. They will be leaving a lot of things open. First of all, losing one ban really
Finally.
hurts. But second of all, as well, when you're on the red side, your job is normally to ban the strong first picks away, and you can only really do that now. So that will be, for example, picks that Bastu 5 really likes to play as a pocket pick that can't be banned in the early rotation. I think for Bastu 5, they are very happy with this, banning away Riziki's Seraphine, who's a good flex pick as well. Now Vanir had to go and ban out the Kate, and that leaves so many things open. The Hecarim, you can point towards the Callista as well if you want to go that route. That's two strong power picks already open in that sense.
I was looking into that Callista. That could be an interesting pick to start up. You can even look into the Hecarim that is getting more and more light. Gemada has been talking about it a lot, and you know, if Gemada is prophesizing anything, it's coming to life. Like the Cloud Drake that everybody was saying, oh, it's trash. It's not. It's one of the best. So Maokai is going to be the first pick, by the way, as we have the champions now showcased for you guys back at home. If it's not, just let us know. Go onto Twitter, spam my DMs that it's not working intended, and we could talk with the one to blame, Duckling. So Maokai is now being the first pick. Tell me, Duckling.
Yeah, I mean, pretty sure you're getting a lot of DMs at the moment. Regardless, though, we will be
Finally.
talking about the Maokai. Maokai is very flexible, very strong, has a good amount of HP, a good amount of tankiness. He can really add in both the top jungle and support role. So it's one thing that I forgot to mention hasn't been banned. And I realized, yeah, it's a strong first pick. And they obviously go that route. Vanir, though, moving towards a more traditional AD carry. We saw it yesterday as well in the ET versus Mad Lion series. The less said about that, the better. But safe to say, carry did make it work.
Okay, there we go. We got the Trundle Tom Kick. We still don't know where he's going to land. Is he going jungle? Is he going support again? Kind of pulling a Maokai as well, trying to bring in the flex. But on the other side, you already see the AD carry. So you know what Felix has been locked. What would you pick on this situation?
Now, so this is all about matching the range or going all in. I would say the best answer is matching the range and trying to keep away from the Aphelios. You don't really want to run Intim at the same time because they have the Trundle. So you see already they start building the range. They have the Corki first there. Good frontline with Maokai, who can still be flexed in multiple roles. Actually, 4 roles. We can see like so many different things. But I would assume they keep on the range. Now, things that are open that could match into is the Jinx Aphelios matchup, the basic, or Ezreal, something along those lines to keep the range. Now, Nyla, that's an interesting take, because then you're short range, and you really want to be going in. So you have the Corki keeping on the back hold, and then Nyla who wants to really be dishing out damage onto the close quarters. So I'm really excited about the bot matchup so far.
We haven't seen a lot of other benders in Champion Selects, Duckling. Do you think any sort of support would go along with Nilla and probably bring in the steam? Do you think Yumi should be the one because of the sustain and all that? Renata, what do you see on this one? Even Maokai could join her. So do you think this Maokai is going for the support role? Is Orn is going to be the last one before we jump into the second
I
phase of
mean,
bans?
I personally really prefer the Maokai in the jungle. I think he's very, very strong there. But for me, I really like the Nyla Maokai dynamic that you could potentially have. What I want to see them now exactly. Force them to ban out the great supports with Nyla. And if you say, okay, I think the best of the best supports with Nyla have been banned out, let's just move the Maokai to support. That's still pretty good. And then we have made them waste 2 more bans, which essentially would mean Vanir has only had 2 proper bans this whole game, which would leave so much stuff open for Bastu 5 to get exactly what they want in the second rotation.
We're getting an interesting vision coming in from Bastu 5, adaptation as well from what we saw in the first game to this second one, as they already have a defeat Vanir as well, because they couldn't show up on the first game. By the way, Renata is going to be the 4th ban from Bastu 5. On the other side is the Yumi, probably another support, or even the top laner Camille. They're trying to take Atmo away from his comfortable picks. Aatrox has been banned. When you see the Camille, when you see the Aatrox, you already got the Ornn. So is this a protection for the Ornn? Is this what they were afraid of, Tom Kick?
I would say it's a protection for Ornn. You sure want to have a safe matchup where Ornn can actually be scaling, because you most likely want to keep Aphelios alive. Because at this point, Bastu 5 was smarter, learning from the first series and adapting into this. So what I want to see from Bastu 5 is playing more to the bot side, getting Nyla in a good position where they can fight with that. Because they were just too scared in the first game, didn't really do too much. But on Vanir here, we can already see a coherent draft there, front to back, pretty self-explanatory, having the peel for Aphelios, want to keep him alive. So that's on to Bastu now this time, instead from the game 1. They need to be the one on the paddle. They want to go forward. And Tariq is a great pick with Nyla.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right, you go in as Nyla and you can't be killed. I mean, that's exactly what you want. I'm sorry for taking this away from you guys, but I'm actually
Outstanding.
really,
Yeah,
really excited with this draft here, because even with so many sports being banned, the Tariq, as Tom mentioned, a perfect fit. Now you're in the situation that the Camille's been banned. I mean, you could go with the Renekton, but that's not really going to work into the Ornn for the later stages and will be a bit more risky. So, in my opinion, a lot of the strong junglers are open here. You can still go for the Hecarim and stuff like that if you really feel like it. Exactly. So you move the Maokai top lane. You've just made them waste the top lane ban, and you lock in the Udyr instead, who is very annoying to play against due to the fact that he is now a giant microwave. You build him with a Sunfire Aegis, you max his ultimate, you put a couple points in W with some shielding as well, and they just can't escape you. You're just this slow field that does a surprising amount of damage as well. Very excited to see the new Udyr, and I really like the fact that they moved the Maokai top lane to allow the power pick and the juggle to come through.
Okay, on the other side, they're going to wrap it up with the Zillion allowing those dives from the Vex, from the Ornn, or even the Trundle to be more safe, to get some SOS key factor on this one. I love the draft from Bastu 5. If you take the Nila and you put in the Pantheon, that would be the most manliest trio there. I don't know if you have a lot of chest over there with the Belly Brother as well. Tell me something. Okay, Tom Kick, what can we expect from this game when you see the draft early game focused?
Right now, I see that Vanir is trying to play the style Bastu 5 was supposed to do first game. They're the ones who want scaling and covering for the lanes and be able to stay into the mid game and power spike and start fighting. Bastu 5, they want action, especially on the Nyla. They want to utilize Udyr's skirmish power, which is really strong, and get Nyla Tariq ahead in bot lane, which makes it so easy for them to teamfight later. But if they can't get ahead, then Vanir has pretty good peeling comp, so then it's on to the execution.
Okay, seems it's going to be the plan. Duckling on the first 10 minutes of game. We didn't see a lot of Pollard on the previous one. Tell me, is this the one for him now?
I mean, Udyr's a bit more of a power farming jungler. So this time it's fine for him to sit back for the first 10 minutes. Obviously, Tom mentioned that it is the side of Vanir who are happy to scale and just wants to cover for lanes. So Polar might want to do something, but this time he is happier by not doing much. On the Volibear, he lost a lot of strength, while if he continued power farming, he was really going to be able to add a lot with the Udyr now.
Well, Duckling, I know you hear the sound from the rift as we're about to get in the bird's eye view of that one, but in order to jump into the game, we need the voices of the one and only J-Real and Solari. They're looking menacing. Look at that.
I mean, when have we not?
That is a good point. Sounds of the rift. Let's see if we're going to see a little bit of a shift, coming out from the underdogs of this group, I should say. But let's get into this game. A lot of new picks. Maokai, Udyr. What are you thinking about this one?
I'm excited about Udyr. Like, I have not seen him that much in action yet, so I need you to be guiding me through him. Because I know you have more experience with the upgraded, the all-new Udyr that is joining us finally.
Indeed. Yeah.
But the rest has me very excited. I am just seeing one issue, and that's something that the desk has already discussed, and I just want to continue on their point. Bastu 5 are yet again putting themselves in a position where they cannot allow to be too much behind. If they fall in there, it's going to be extremely hard for them to climb back into the game because the scaling is definitely not on their side, which means this time it is definitely the moment where they need to try to take the advantage in their hands as early as possible. Will they manage to do it this time? I don't know. We need to see.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, right? Because they do
Yeah.
have some late game insurance, right? They do have the Nyla, they do have the Tarek, and obviously we have to shout out Torok. He was quite a big fan of that Tarek, and obviously a big popular coach there. Clearly, it has to have some sort of levels to it, and it goes so well with Nyla. Obviously getting that extra healing, getting that extra shielding, it is just kind of the perfect duo. But that's a lot of range from Vanir. They're not trying to let Tarek get anywhere near close to them because that Zillion, Aphelios, they're going to be staying very far back.
Yes. So this is another issue that I'm having with Bastu 5. I love the pickup of Tariq because everything else, especially that Nyla, want to be playing extremely aggressively and extremely risky. This Tariq is going to be the insurance that this Nyla is going to have, jumping into the enemy, trying to get to their backlane, trying to get to their carries. But even with him, is it going to be enough? Because there is Zillion, a brilliant answer from Vanir, a brilliant last pick from them. This is their own insurance. Everybody's insured apparently in this game, so it's looking good. But who is it going to look better for?
No, it does feel like Bastu 5, they're playing to a very similar comp style, right? They have the Maokai, they have the Udyr, they have that big front line, then they've gone for, again, 2 ADCs, the Corki, and then a bottom lane ADC, they're going for the Nyla. So it does feel like they're kind of finding their playstyle. Will it work out this time? That is the big question. Obviously not the greatest first game, but Vanir, maybe a slightly less early game oriented team. Obviously no crazy Dravens coming through, no level 6 Aatrox is just going to ruin the game.
Yeah, this time we don't have that type of craziness, especially so much of it concentrated in one team. We still have some things that can go absolutely nuts, even starting from the mid game. I'm especially looking at both AD carries, to be honest, because for Aphelios, it's naturally just with the time when it comes, he's going to pop off. For Nila, it is about getting to 1-2 items, ideally 2 items, and she's going to be flying around the Summoner's Rift. So these things can go crazy, but they need some time, and it's not like Aatrox is just, if you don't stop them, they're going to go and destroy a whole team. So here, it's something that you can work with.
Yeah, and Maokai has to be something that Bastu really like, right? Because they banned it in game 1. They didn't want to see it played, or maybe I'm getting it wrong, actually. It was actually natives that banned it in game 1. So clearly it's something that they have thought about, they thought it was a bit dangerous, and it is something that Bastu, have said, actually, we can play this, we can make this work, and right now, Dark Zelda is taking a bit of damage.
Ooh, a bit of damage. That's a lot of damage that everybody's taking across the map. Look at what's happening on the mid lane.
Mid lane is just, it's popping off right now. They're just going head to head, and Apolina able to come through slightly ahead of that one.
I really want to see that Vex later in the game. I want to keep my eyes on that Vex, to be honest, because this is something that can help Vanir quite a lot against Bastu 5. Because usually we see her being taken against the team composition where there is a lot of things with dashes and engages that rely on dashes. Here it's not that many of them, but still I feel like she can be a big thing protecting the backlane. You protect the backlane, and after that you fly into the enemy's backlane your own. It could be a rather interesting scenario here, so that's why this is going to be the #1 thing for me that I'm gonna be looking at.
No, indeed. We got a lot to look around. We'll see if Dark Zelda can link up with his team. That was a pun. We'll see if they take it to that late game. If they get to level 14, obviously the Ornn becomes a real problem for the rest of the team, because Vanir, as you said, we're already having such good late game. With that assurance of those ornaments is going to be even more pressing. For Bastu 5 though, what do you want to see them do to get that early game snowball going? Do you want to see them play a lot around that middle, around that bot, or actually set up the Udyr on that top side?
I want to see bot lane. Most of all, I want to see bot lane, to be honest, because for the other lanes, it's about also waiting to see when they power spike from bot lane. You can start things and get them accelerated rather early. So I want to see something happening at this side of the map this time. But most importantly, I want to see Pola. I know that Dex said that this time actually he can stay in the jungle for much longer and be justified for doing so. But I want to see more proactiveness from the jungle this time. I want to see just at least some shadowing, at least something happening around the lanes.
Ooh, good flash there.
Yeah.
From Riziki. He is going to be able to get away. Riziki there almost getting caught out, but a nice flash. And it's something that Tabai has been looming with. Those dazzles have been coming through pretty hot and heavy.
And it's something we're talking about when it comes to the bot lane, right? We want to see some action happening there, especially for Bastu 5. And right now, this is already something good for them. There is no flash available for Aphelios, while for them, both the bot laners have the flash available. Something could actually work around, especially if you have Neil.
Oh, flash going forward. Will they have the damage though? Not too much is dropping right now, and Zalian able to trade a bit back, and Riziki now able to get a bit of fire off as the range is in their favor, but trade over to the side of Bastu 5. They are starting to get a bit of tempo in the spot side, but they are both very low mana.
Yes. They're going with the risky moves there. Definitely did not have enough damage, unfortunately. You can see why they decided to try to have something so early. First of all, as I was saying, no flash on the Aphelios, a great opening for you. Secondly, you want to have some action pre-level 6, because after that, there is the ultimate available for Zillion, and it's going to be much harder for you to jump in, because the moment you do it, he will just pop on the ultimate on Aphelios, and you know that you're not going to be able to kill AD carry, and you're just going to waste quite a lot of time jumping in. And for Nila, whenever she jumps in, this is the last thing that she wants to do, is wasting time, because she is putting herself in a very vulnerable situation.
He is indeed right now. Talking about vulnerable, Vanir is potentially looking for a bot lane gank here. Fruity Fresh is going to get stunned up, and now here they come. Gravitum is the gun. He will be able to dash away, but one more takes the first blood, and now the rest of the team are coming through. Polar trying to make something happen, but it is going to be a no way momentum for them. They take one kill, they walk back. Vanir getting a bit of control.
There was absolutely no way that Fruity Fresh was getting out of this situation. Just too much control thrown at him, and too much control that actually landed on him from the very beginning. So unfortunately, that was a very obvious first blood coming for Vanir. You can actually see a pretty nice reaction from Vanir. They even moved their mid lane towards the river, just in case anything else was going to happen, because they already saw the enemy jungler on the bot lane. So, you know, it could have been an escalation, but nothing happened. They just walk away with the first blood.
They do indeed, and on this top side, it's been a relatively quiet top lane. You know, both tanks just wailing on each other. It's not going to lead to any crazy kills at the moment. A lot of damage is being dealt, but Dark Zelda has so much of it, it's not really going to make a big difference. Obviously, in the later game team fights, that's when it's really going to make a difference, because Maokai, the ultimate is quite slow. You know, Nature's Grass takes a long time to get through the map, but that route can be a big problem for the carries of Vanir.
Interesting enough, we're in patch 12.18, and in this patch the ultimate of Maokai has been buffed. Now it's going a little bit faster. What's even more important, if it hits somebody from the enemy team, Maokai is getting a movement speed boost. So right now it's a bit easier time for him to catch somebody with the ultimate and to follow up on that. I really want to see it in action, because potentially it could lead to some very juicy team fights.
Yeah, talking about action, we're seeing the dragon being taken by Vanir, going for the early play, and now Tabai could be in trouble. Going to get stunned up here, going to be chased down, tries to dazzle, but a beautiful pillar knocks them aside. They aren't going to get the stun, and they are going to fall. Fruity Fresh now just able to make it out, but woo, Vanir finding success on this bot side.
Another time, actually, for the second time in a row, they take the dragon, they take yet another kill in their pockets. A rather good one. It's a lot of control in their hands. A lot of things that they're just not afraid to throw at the enemy, because they really want to get those kills on the bot lane. We expected the action on the bot lane, but honestly I expected more of it to happen from the other side of the lane.
So indeed, potentially it could have gone down that way if Bastu had managed to do it. And as you said, it's the late game insurance that Vanir has that makes it so scary. Aphelios already with 2 kills. We've seen time and time again what this AD carry can do when he gets to that 3-item spike.
Ooh!
Oh,
wait, did he get it?
Oh no!
Did he get it?
It's frosty. It's frosty right now for Polar.
Yeah. That must have hurt. That was brave and bold, and that's something that you expect from Vanir as a team. Again, we're talking about a new roster, but we're talking about the team identity. So something that I'm not too surprised to see. What's happening here right now is that the bot lane of Vanir is feeling way too good. they might have some potential further action here, but even if it doesn't happen, as you were talking about it, 2 kills already on the field is quite a lot of money. He should be ahead of pretty much everybody on the Rift right now. And this is scary, because you don't want to see affiliates from the enemy team accelerating that quickly and getting so much early prio and early advantage, because he's gonna transfer it into very early items. And a lot of damage that you don't want to see in the battlefield, especially because it's going to be harder and harder for you to get closer to him as the game progresses.
Okay, but this is a positive sign for Bastu. You know, right now, they have to be looking for those advantages to find any sort of way to bring themselves back into the game. They're looking for the Herald. I will say, though, Apollonia has spotted that one out. You do have to be a little bit careful around this one. They are looking to maybe put a bit of harassment down on Krambit. Also there, this could be a smite fight in the end of it. They are going to get a bit of damage down the fear coming through. And it's a stolen Herald as well. Oh my days, Vanir has made it. But here comes Atmo trying to turn it around in their favor. But it's a lot of damage going down from this Trundle, who is going to slowly but surely go down now. Apollonia will be able to turn this one around. We are going to see Jay is there. Could potentially keep them alive though with the chrono shifted up. Comes Riziki. They're going to be able to drop the damage, but it's not enough until he goes over the wall. They take another kill, and it will be traded back. The Corgi finds another. It's 2 for 2, but the Herald is secured by Vanir.
Oh, that ticked in the end. It is 2 for 2, but yeah, that was the Herald stolen, and that's the first Herald stolen, so that's quite a lot of money that Vanir just managed to secure for their team. Pretty unfortunate for Bastu 5 yet again. What is happening here? Ah, no, it's just the top laners exchanging again. Nothing serious. What's going to happen now is that mid lane and top lane can be rather accelerated by Vanir. They have the Herald on the mid laner. What? Wait, what?
Hello? What are we watching?
Damage? Excuse me? I did not expect that to result in a kill.
The tower. He took so many tower shots.
How?
Well, miscalculations do happen.
Of course.
It be like that sometimes. I think it's basically what we're going to take away from this.
I think that's the best thing that we can take out from it. But Vanir just lost a lot of prio on the top lane all of a sudden. That looked brilliant. That looked beautiful for them. Struggling a little bit maybe on the mid lane, but managing to pay off for it by having so much action on the top lane, pushing forward, looking into taking that third place for Phyllis. And all of a sudden, it's completely turned around by Bastu 5. So a good answer, and they managed to push the top lane a little bit further from their side. So all looking not too bad for them. And look at the kill score, 3-4, going rather close as well. And look at the gold difference. There is gold advantage for Bastu 5. Something we saw in the previous game of them, so we don't get too relaxed. But still, it's the gold advantage.
Yeah, no, what am I? Thorn 3-1. This Corki is starting to snowball through this game. He said Corki punished in the early game, but if they get to that mid game, they can become an absolute menace. And right now, Bastu 5 have to look at that being a potential win condition.
I think this is the best win condition that they have right now, and it can actually work for them if they don't lose the bot lane right now.
Yeah, indeed. Right now, though, Polar trying to clear that wave. They are going to drop the Herald immediately. 4 plates. It can only take 2 1/4, so it's not going to take it just yet. But the follow-up from Riziki, can it be enough? Obviously, they have to be pretty careful about those towers, though.
That's a lot of gold to everybody. Oh, they want some action. Look at this ultimate going.
Ooh, I like that, though. Good block from Krambit. Doesn't let their ADC get caught up. Not going to allow Atmo to get close enough to that back line. But they have now given themselves some space around the train.
And they're going to take it because everybody from Bastu 5 is here, so they're going to make sure that there is no contest happening from the side of Vanir. Vanir are short in numbers because their top laner is sitting where he's supposed to be at the top lane. Already with a mythic item, already farmed up quite nicely compared to his adversary in the top lane, but he is still farming up and he is still pushing forward, and I want to see some answer from Bastu 5 because if they don't do this, the first third of the game is going to go to Vanir.
Yeah, and Ornn grabbing a lot of gold isn't the scariest of things that we're going to see in this game, but the levels of being on that side lane, allowing them to get even tankier, it does make your team a little bit bolstered up, so you don't want to be giving anyone anything for free. But right now, just for like Vanir, they are starting to give themselves a lot of momentum. Yes, a couple of things have gone back the way of Bastu 5, getting that dragon, getting a few kills here and there, but overall it does feel like Vanir's game at the moment.
Vanir, look at them. They're walking through the enemy jungle like if it's their own. They want to be taking all of it. They want to be taking the objectives into their own hands. But what's even more important is that they want to be taking that bot lane. That Aphelios is still sticking to here. He's taking the turret plates, or at least he's trying to. And really, you can see a lot of attention from Vanir towards bot lane and towards their AD carry. It really feels like they are building their whole team around the AD carry to make sure they can build him into a full-grown hyper carry. And honestly, it's working for them so far. The only thing that can stop him right now from the side of B5 is that Koki you were talking about. And what is he doing? He's farming up.
Yeah, taking the junglers' camps as well.
Yeah, it's
Feels
a tax.
bad. Feels bad. But either way, it makes sense, right? You are the carry. Polar isn't going to be there to be doing damage. They're just going to be there as a tank. Yes, Ude does do quite a bit of damage. He does take over, but obviously the stuns, that's really where you want to kind of see the importance of obviously just absorbing a lot of pressure as well. If you have to focus the Ude, it just gives Thrin more time to basically keep blasting away with those rockets.
It's really important for Bastu 5 indeed to have some, a lot of front lane action happening, because they need to make sure that they, on their hand, keep their hyper carry protected, and their hyper carry is Koki right now. And at the same time, they need to make sure they get rid of the front lane of Vanir, or at least they keep it occupied with something else, making sure that they cannot fight with Bastu 5's front lane and cannot try to get to their back lane as well. So it's important that there is some gold being funneled into Udyr as well, and into the other tanks. But if we talk about gold distribution, really, the majority of it must go into Koki right now. He needs more items. He desperately needs them. So it's good time to give him your jungle and forget about it.
Now, how are you feeling about this lane assignment, right? Because they've switched the Maokai down into the bot side to take on the bot lane. They've left the Corki up into the top side, and they've moved Nyla to the mid lane with Tarek supporting the Maokai. Like, it seems like a bit of an unusual setup. Normally, you would move your bot lane as a whole and maybe keep your top lane into the same place.
Thing is, you cannot really leave Maokai alone on the bot lane because he is not doing a good enough job of stopping Vanir. Look at them, they're just walking through the enemy jungle like if it's their own. And he cannot stop them from taking that turret on the bot lane, so you need to have somebody walking around, shooting it and helping him as much as possible. But you don't want it to be one of the damage dealers, because you need them trying to push the other lanes forward. You can see they're not really accelerating the lanes that much, because you have, for example, one on the top lane. It's really hard to push through him, even if you're ahead of him. But you just need to keep that action going somewhere else, and bot lane is just there to keep it as stable as possible, even though you know you cannot protect it for forever. A Herald, though. That's what's important. The second Herald of the game, and this one is also going into the pockets of Vanir. So far, they are leading massively in terms of the objectives on the map. And what's even more important, there still has not been the first tower in this game, and they might just be taking that top one.
It might indeed. Right now, Krambit can just chomp these towers. It does really speed up that one. They're going to be able to take that first tower. We are going to see Thorn trying to match it. It will be match 1-for-1, but not going to be able to get the first brick.
No, the first break actually goes to Vanir this time as well. And they still have the Herald. It's still kept on Krambit, so they can use it, for example, for the dragon. Because the next dragon of the game, the Mountain, and by the way, yeah, we have the Mountain Soul in this game. So you can actually use this Herald to accelerate your team towards the dragon to make sure that the enemy team needs to be occupied with whatever is happening on the, most probably the mid lane. And you, because of that, can get the high ground around the pit.
We'll see how they do decide to set up. They've got 29 seconds before that one comes through. Right now, Riziki, they're going to be able to pick up that red buff, and it does seem like Vanir are slowly but surely making their way down, but no crazy urgency right now, as we are going to see. It's now 5. They've just sent 2 people back to base.
Maybe not the best timing, but the dragon is not up until the next 10 seconds, so potentially... they have the package as well, so... No, it's not good. There is no teleport available for Kulki. I was hoping there would be the package and immediate teleport to the mid lane, as we see quite often, but no, the teleport has been used earlier, so the timing is not as good as it could have been. But fortunately for Bastu 5, Vanir did not accelerate towards the pit immediately, so Bastu 5 can establish some vision control around it now and have the high ground themselves.
Oh, but they have decided to go for the Herald. They're going to force Bastu 5 into this mid lane, forcing them away from that Dragon. They're going to crash that Herald in and get a bit of damage down. But here goes Corgi. Going to drop the package. That's quite a nice battle line drawn. And in they go. Celestial is going to keep them alive. And in goes Nyla into that backline, able to pick up the kill onto Riziki. They've taken down the Affiliates. They're looking for more. Jay trying to get out of there, but they're not going to make it out alive. And now they turn on to the tanky Ornn, but they will be burned down alive. It is going to be Bastu 5 that pick up the win in that team fight, and they go for the Drake.
Yes, baby! It's not overly done yet because Vanir is still, looking at the Drake, but there is absolutely no way they can go in. That was a beautiful fight from Bastu 5. That's something I really crave to see from them, and finally my wish has been fulfilled. That was beautiful. That was them knowing exactly what their strength is against Vanir. It's with their Nila and Tariq and Corki with a package combination. These three things combined together, jumping right into Vanir, breaking their composition completely, making their front lane not be the front lane anymore, making their back lane completely exposed and vulnerable, jumping in and killing their carries almost immediately on the spot while staying alive, even when taking such risky moves, because Tariq is keeping absolutely everybody alive.
Yeah, the Cosmic Radiance with the Apotheosis from the Nyla, allowing your team to not die, but also pulling them back into the fight is such a good combination. As right now, though, we are going to have to see one having to flash over that wall, Krambit, almost finding a pick for their team. It is a very nice play. We'll see if Bastu 5 can keep that team fight momentum going. Getting onto Riziki, getting that first kill immediately was such a huge moment in that last fight.
They just need to keep the momentum going. Will they though? What?
The momentum. It's going to be turning the other way right now. Riziki looking for the root, but a really beautiful Jubilant Veil there from the Nyla means that they can't get auto-attacked.
Vanir really wanted to go for a kill. They want to go for a kill on Nila, but it's not going to work like that. What they want to do is they absolutely want to shut down Corki, because that 600 gold champion bounty sitting on his head is... How much HP does this turret have? Did you see that?
No.
Oh my god. Can we please?
We're getting it from... Oh!
No way!
Literally 1 HP.
Oh my god.
Someone clip it. Someone clip it. That's never happened before. That has never happened before.
All the jokes about 1 HP turret were leading to this moment. I love it.
Oh my days.
God.
Well, I thought I'd never see the day, but 1 HP turret, it has existed. You were here, people in chat. You witnessed it first time. But back into this game, we are going to be getting that Baron spawning. It is up. It has been up for almost a minute. The next dragon in 2 minutes 50. Right now, though, they're actually potentially going to get caught out there. Krambit able to walk away, but Bastu 5 holding down this mid lane. I feel like both teams are really just trying to ARAM out this mid tower.
Yeah. Everybody wants to take the outer turret because it's going to give them a massive prior over the Baron and the next dragons, because we'll have the next dragon in 2.5 minutes, and it's going to be a potential soul point for Bastu 5. But definitely everybody has their eyes already set on the Baron, and something I was praising Bastu 5 in the previous game is their vision game, because it's a rather good one. I did not expect it to be that good, to be honest. Maybe not offensive enough at all times, but at least they know to keep as much vision as possible around them whenever they're walking around the map. So I believe they might want to push for that vision around the Baron even more, trying to establish some control over it to make sure that if Vanir want to have some choosy movements on the map towards the pit, at least they will know.
Indeed, they will. Right now, though, we are seeing that vision being controlled right now. Bastu 5 able to start closing out some of that, killing off some of those control wards. We are going to see that one in the middle river kept. Oh, it's going to be taken out by Tobian. It does set them up. It does set them up nicely that they're not just going to lose that one straight to Vanir. Right now, though, Polar is lurking around, and I feel like the game has hit a real lull ever since that last team fight, because Vanir realized they're not ready to team fight yet.
Exactly. Vanir needs some more time. They need more items in their hands already. Everybody has the mythic on both teams, but Vanir need more. They need to get everybody to 2 items. Finally, 2 items on Aphelios, by the way, somebody I just wanted to mention in the sense of it, so it's looking a little bit better. But still, they want to choose the moment when they're fighting. And Bastu 5 are in a position when they can decide and control when the fight is going to happen. So obviously, Vanir are going to step back a little bit, try to play a little bit safer around the map until they feel confident enough to just jump in, or like that, whatever that is.
And Free Fresh with the Jubilant Veil. It's just so good against these auto-attack heavy teams right now. Can't be hit with the Graviton from Aphelios. Can't be chomped up by Trundle. Feels good right now to be Nyla.
Oh, absolutely. High time to be Nyla. So, the Dragon is coming up 40 seconds and it's going to be up again, the potential soul point for Bastu 5. And it's a good soul, especially for them when they want to be playing risky skill and jumping into the enemy. You want to have some additional protection for you, so definitely that's a good soul to take.
Right now, son. Onto Polar. We're going to see this fight going down, though. Here comes the Ornhorn. The look for the knockup does get it onto Nyla. Going to be able to use that Veil, though, to stop the auto attacks from landing. And here comes the Cosmic Radiance, but it was a lot more defensive than they would have wanted. Vanir able to burn major cooldowns from the side of Bastu 5.
They also burned a lot of their own cooldowns, and now there is Kulki here with a package, so keep your eyes on this thing as well, because he's going to use it somewhere soon. And this is going to deal a lot of damage. But they have a teleport from On. Oh, it could be the continuation of the fight.
Dragon is being taken right now by Bastu 5. They may have to turn though. Vanir tries to close the gap, but there is the Corgi. Gonna buy some time with that package drop, and now a big well, the O's coming out from Nyla. They're gonna go straight into this backline. They've already taken down the Aphelios, but he will be respawning, but he's coming back into the middle of the team, and he goes down again. Another one fight for the side of Bastu 5. Vanir just cannot compete at the moment.
Fruity Fresh is looking hella fresh in those fights, I have to say. That was beautiful. Again, we have the classic combination. Apparently in this game it's already classic of Corki flying in with a package, disrupting the composition of the enemy. And immediately after that, there is a follow-up from Fruity Fresh jumping in. So much control, so much damage. Nobody can take her down, even though this time there was no Cosmic Radiance from Tari because it was just used a little bit earlier. Still, even without it, it was enough survivability for Bastu 5 to jump in and survive because everybody is alive and they're taking the Baron.
It's absolutely insane from Bastu 5. They take the Baron, they put themselves on the front foot in this game. They're one Dragon away from Mounted Soul as well, and it does not seem like Vanir have an answer for them in these team fights.
Vanir cannot fight in the big team fights right now unless they manage to choose a team fight at the moment where there is no package for Corki. They manage to take some of the big cooldowns away from Bastu. It's still alive. It's still alive. Wow. Oh my god. Yes, Turret, I'm your biggest fan. Please, can nobody touch it until the end of the game? It's going to be the win for me. Regardless. So, Vanir they can win a fight still. They're still rather strong and they're going to be getting stronger as the game progresses. But if they want to win a team fight right now, it's going to take a lot of condition for them. For Bastu 5, as long as they have everybody together and they have Nila and Corki going, it's easier for them. But so far, we have seen them in the team fights relying very heavily on Corki's package. So I really wonder what's going to happen if they're being forced in a team fight with no package available.
Indeed, it does beg a big question that needs to be answered. Right now, Cranberry is going to be trying to chase down Atmo. He will be able to drop the Nate's Trust to give him a bit of time, able to walk away here. So, Ultimate is used by the side of the Maokai, but also from the Trundle. It's a pretty worse play for Bastu 5 in that bot side. Feels like Vanir are kind of just grasping at straws.
Well, look at what Bastu 5 are doing in the meantime. Doesn't matter what you're doing on the bot lane, if your mid turret is getting sieged and it's your base turret on the mid lane is getting sieged, you need to be there, you need to be answering whatever is happening right there, right now. And the ultimate from Maokai is not that big of a thing to take away without having any major objective on the map because the cooldown is rather low. It's not something that you absolutely have to take away and be happy with a gank.
Yeah, indeed. It's also got a pretty low cooldown. It is coming up pretty swiftly, and to lose two tier 2 towers for nothing is major. Right now, the Cranberry are going to be going forward. They're looking for this play, but Cosmic Radiance is going to come down. We'll buy them some time. Grab it in the run. It's going to be going so well for the side of Bastu 5. Once again, another team fight is just going to go their way.
Exactly. They were one person short because they had their Maokai still on the bot lane, and the Corki was around but not exactly at the fight when it started, so you could see they were short on him as well. But they still managed to take this because they have the Cosmic Radiance and they have so much damage and again so much survivability that Vanir can just not cut through it. They're so far behind right now and all their optimization is not helping.
Is not at all. They're just pushing this game. They might be able to end it here, to be honest. One more team fight would end the game for Vanir. We talked about their scaling options. It's 27 minutes and they just aren't in that position yet.
No, their scaling has been delayed massively, and right now if they continue waiting for it to hit, it's never going to hit. They have 3 inhibitors down. All of the lanes are completely open and naked. Next Baron is in less than 3 minutes. If that Baron goes in the hands of Bastu 5, they take the game, no question here. But even before that, there is a dragon coming up earlier than a minute and a half. And it's going to be the soul for Bastu 5 if they take it. There are still the lanes they can push through. There are big minions going through all 3 lanes. Perfect opportunity to split through them as Bastu 5 and push. And they can just go and win the game without waiting for any condition to allow it.
It is indeed right now. Vanir, they can't be thinking about win conditions right now because they're just trying to push out these waves. They have to put so much energy in just stopping their base from getting crushed by the side of Bastu 5. Which just means that there's so much time on the map. As you said, the Mountain Soul is coming up as well. It's another condition to add to Bastu 5's chances of winning.
They have all the chances of... Oh, that's cute. He's just waiting for the package. He's just chilling on the base and waiting for his precious package. Understandable. Again, it's a very big thing that Bastu 5 are playing around in the fight, but we just saw previously when Vanir thought they chose a very good moment to go on to Bastu 5 and try to have a fight with them on their conditions. Bastu 5 said, no, we're still too strong for you to fight us. So right now, Vanir are being stuck at their base. They need to keep defending it because otherwise the minions will just take the base for Bastu 5 without any champions being present there. So it's a free dragon, and it's... honestly, it feels like it's a game.
It is a game. Whether it's one that Vanir can win is another question, but we'll have to find out surely right now. It looks like Bastu 5, they're just going to be able to take this dragon. It will be the Mountain Soul right now, which is potentially game ending. I imagine they take this and then go to that Baron and then really close out the game.
There is still a minute left before the Baron. Why waste a whole minute as Bastu 5 when you just got the sweet, sweet soul? And there was the package and Corki, but I believe it was just... No, it's still available, so he should be using it rather soon because it should be wearing off. So it's a perfect moment for Bastu 5 to group up, go have one final fight, take down those 2 turrets because it's the only thing that's standing between them and the Nexus.
It is indeed.
Oh, the package is gone.
They're playing it slow and playing it control. You know, trying to make sure that they've got all of the winning conditions that they need in their basket before they press for the end. Right now, if you're Vanir though, you're going to be pretty happy. You know, you've got some time to scale, you've got those empowered minions that give you a little bit more XP, and you're able just to keep farming, keeping your towers, your next towers alive.
That's the good thing that's happening to Vanir right now. They have so much gold just going towards their base, and they can use it quite quickly because they're literally right next to their shop. So it's not too bad for them, and the fact that there has been no final push from Bastu 5 by now means that Vanir are managing to find themselves in a little bit of better situation. But I wouldn't say that it's a very good one. Still 3 seconds before the Baron is going to be up, and Bastu 5 are already there. And Vanir should know pretty damn well that this is what is going to happen now. The Baron and the final push.
Indeed. Right now, though, it's going to be the Baron taken down. No contention from Vanir so far. They still have to keep pushing out those waves. They have no other chance of potentially going for this. And it's going to be the Baron selected. We're just ramping up now. This could be the last fight.
Oh, yes. Look at Bastu 5. They're moving towards the enemy base. 2 turrets, 5 members of Vanir, and an enemy Nexus. It's all that they need to take to have this win that they desperately want.
They desperately want it indeed. We saw them lose to natives. Now they've come back to look strong against Vanir, but can Vanir stop them in their tracks? Will they be able to defend these 2 Nexus towers? We'll have to find out. Right now they're not looking for the aggression, which I'm surprised that they have to pull the trigger at some point.
Oh, here they go. Look at that.
They're going aggressive in, but here comes the Cosmic Radiance. There is the Fontios just going to grab it, but they haven't got to the back line just yet. Right now we're going to see Doug down and getting pretty low, but then they go into the back side of the fight. Polar going to have to step away, though they're just focusing onto these tanks. They've removed them, and can they do the rest? Right now, Riziki going to be removed from the game. It is not a shame, but it is going to be Bastu 5 picking up their first win of this tournament.
This time, I'm the swag, my friend, but also this time, Bastu 5 are the swag, apparently. Finally, they take the game. Yes, thank you. That's much better. Finally, they have this sweet, sweet win that they really wanted, and that was honestly a really good win. And you see, the desk said before the beginning of the game that if Bastu 5 want to start winning the games, this is the perfect moment. This is the perfect team to start with. And this is exactly what happened. It wasn't an easy win, you have to admit. The beginning of the game looked rather rough for them, but everything that went after that, So good.
No, indeed. And I know you like the Rams, so I've got another one for you today. Vanir, it was the game they tried to save. Bastu 5, they're going to be dancing around like it's a rave. Nyla, she just rode through on that wave and managed to put Vanir in the grave. That's what we're talking about right now. That's what happened. That is the roll-up, the roundup of this game. Bastu 5 putting themselves on the map. They've got that one win next to their name. Me and Solari, we're going to be throwing you guys to a break. When we come back, we're actually going to be on the desk. We're going to be switching it up a little bit. So make sure you tune in. You do not want to miss any of these antics.